What's up everybody, Watt007 here and welcome back to a brand new Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video. In today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video, I'm going to be showcasing 4 different farm decks that you guys can use to farm the brand new Blair Flannigan event. As you guys know, this is the newest character in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. She is a roaming duelist and we're going to be able to farm 4 cards like Maiden and Love and Cupid's Kiss. And in this event, I'm just going to show you guys how to properly farm this character because, one, I know most videos out there, including my first farm video, is showcasing a Yubel deck to farm her. So I'm going to give you guys some more variety out there because I know not everybody wants to use the Yubel Farm Deck or they just want some different options, because in general this new Blair event is kind of obnoxious to farm. She is a very tricky character to farm because Lightsworns are a pretty annoying deck to farm against. So hopefully this guide video can help you guys out. I'm going to tell you guys the strengths and weaknesses of all 4 different decks that I'm going to showcase in today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video, and also with these farm decks that I'm going to be showcasing on today's video. Some of these farm decks are from other Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links content creators that you may or may not have heard of, so be sure to go to the description down below and go show your support to these content creators and all that good stuff right there. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links Ultimate Farm Guide for Blair Flannigan. So the first farm deck I'm going to showcase to you guys is this one right here from Duel Links Best Memes. If you haven't checked out his channel already, be sure to go check it out. Link in the description down below. He came up with this bootleg 6 Sam farm deck that you guys can use. You get to use the power of the Synchro Summoning and the Fusion Summoning to accumulate a bunch of score and be able to properly farm Blair. And also, this one is kind of the better deck out of the ones that I'm going to showcase in today's video, because in the replay that I'm going to showcase to you guys, there was a moment where Blair was actually able to kind of pop some cards on the field and get me to a very dire situation, but luckily I was able to make a comeback and properly farm the character still. So even if Blair is giving you some trouble with the Lightsworn deck, if you can build this farm deck, feel free to do it, because this one seems to be able to recover a little bit when you're having a bad opportunity. Also, when it comes to this farm deck, I don't have all the cards that Duel Links Best Memes has, so the deck list that I'm going to put in the description down below is going to be the exact deck list from Duel Links Best Memes, because his is the most optimal version. For mine's a little bit of a budget because I had to utilize some cards, or I had to put in some subs in this deck in order to fill up my slots because I was missing a few of the cards. But without further ado, let's go do a rundown on this deck. So we have 2 copies of Red Eye Zombie Dragon. To get this card, you're going to want to get it from the Crimson Kingdom box. We have the bootleg 6 Sams right here, which are from the Soul of Resurrection mini box. So this card, this card, this card are all from the recent mini box Soul of Resurrection. We have Gravekeeper's Vassal. You can get it from Rank PP tickets or Aziju. Try to use a glossy rare ticket to get a glossy Vassal to get some bonus points. We have 1 copy of Dragon's Mirror, which is going to help us go into our Dragon Necro, which both Dragon's Mirror and Dragon Necro are from the Soul Resurrection mini box. We have 2 copies of Red Eye's Insight. If you can, rock some glossy or prismatic copies of Red Eye's Insight, but I was still able to get 9k score without getting some prismatic ones. But as always, if you can run the most prismatics as you can, be sure to do it. But you can get this card from Ranked Duels. We have 2 copies of Union Attack, which you can also get from Yugi Moto, or check some of your SR tickets. Like I think your Pet Rebo prismatic tickets can possibly give you a prismatic Union Attack. If you can do that, be sure to go do that, because prismatic Union Attack is very valuable for farms. We have 2 copies of Shard of Greed. The only reason why I'm rocking 2 copies of Shard of Greed is because I was missing some of the cards. So this card is like a just free reign. You play whatever card you want. For me, I'm just putting in some Shard of Greed so I can draw power. So that's why I have that card in the deck. We also have a Secret Passage Treasures from the Ultimate Rising main box. And then next up we have a Light-Imprisoning Mirror. This card is very important so we can negate all of the Lightsworn monster effects, because one thing, if you didn't know already, with farming Blair is the fact that since she is playing Lightsworn, when her Lightsworn trigger their effects, they mill cards from the deck into the graveyard, and if you don't stop that, Blair will basically mill herself out, and then you can't get the maximum amount of score to try to get the maximum amount of cards. So you want to rock a Light-Imprisoning Mirror because you can negate all light monster effects activated in the field or in the graveyard. So keep that in mind right there. 1 copy of Red Eye Spirit that we're going to search for with Insight, and then we have the Emperor's Holiday, negate equipped spell effects on the field, so you can stop Happy Marriage from Blair right there. So, and then there's like some other equip cards that she also had, but you can use this to stop some equip cards right there. When it comes to the extra deck, we have Dragon Necro, we have Shiranui, and then we have these ones too. I mispronounced the name, my bad. That's why I've been calling them bootleg 6 Sams. But yeah, we have a bunch of these cards. They're all from the recent mini box, and then Red Eye Zombie Necro Dragons from the Curse of Dread mini box. From what I can tell, you don't really need Red Eyes and Zombie Necro Dragons, so don't fret if you don't have this guy. Don't dig into that box if you need to. So there you go right there. Let me go hop into the duel replay so I can show you guys a visual representation of how to properly farm Blair with this farm deck. So we went first in this situation. We're going to trigger our Red Eye's Insight immediately and pitch Zombie Dragon to the graveyard and search for our Red Eye Spirit. Next up, we're going to go into our Squire. Squire is one of the most important cards for this deck. attack, because when you normal summon this monster, you can special summon a bootleg Spectral Sword from your hand or deck and get it onto the field, so then you can go for an automatic synchro summon into one of our bootleg 6am synchro monsters. So we're going to go into our Squire Saga right here. Squire Saga is pretty cool because every time you banish one of your zombie monsters, you can boost the attack of Squire Saga, and you can pop back row with this card. It's really cool. We're going to set Red-Eye Spirit and call it a turn. Blair right here is going to go draw, activate Solar Recharge, and do some shenanigans right here. And from what I've noticed, when you are playing the bootleg 6ams, Blair seems to set a lot of her Light Sworns because she doesn't want to take any battle damage. So that's really good for us because then it increases the chance of her not milling herself out. So this is also something really nice about this farm deck. Anyways, we're going to trigger our Red-Eye Spirit and special summon a Red-Eye Zombie Dragon, and then we're going to summon into our Spectral Sword to then synchro summon into Shiranui Saga. So there we go right there. That's why we're rocking the Red-Eye Zombie Dragon to 1, thin out our deck, and then 2, go into the synchro summon of this 10-star synchro monster, which is pretty cool. Next up, we're just going to kind of swing from there. Yeah, what you kind of want to do right here is you want to keep attacking over and over again, because you don't want Blair to summon into a monster, which I'll talk about later in this replay because she did summon into the monster. But try your best to destroy as much of her Light Swords that you can. We're going to play Shard Greed for that draw power right there, and we're just going to kind of keep on going right here, keep boosting the attack of our our bootleg 6ams, and just keep on going from here. We topped into a Squire, and we're just kind of chilling right here. And then next up, she played Glorious Illusion to special summon a monster, plays the Light Sword to destroy our Shard of Greed. And this card is one of the most troublesome cards when it comes to some of these farm decks. Celestia, when it's tribute summoned by tributing a Light Sword monster, you can send the top 4 cards of your deck to the grave, and then target up to 2 cards your opponent controls and destroy those targets. Very, very, very obnoxious, but we're still able to make the comeback right there. So we lost both of our monsters, but luckily she couldn't summon into another monster, and we were able to make the comeback with Dragon's Mirror. So we activated Dragon's Mirror right here to summon into our Dragon Necro Nether Soul Dragon right here. And what's also good about this too is that we got a bonus fusion summon for the score, so keep that in mind too. If you don't need to go into this play, if Blair never summons into her Celestia, you still want to go into your Dragon Necro on the end of your turn before you do the final OTK attacks to get the bonus fusion summon points. But we do that, we summon into our Squire, special summon another monster, and summon into our bootleg Squire Saga, and then we just kind of go from there. We deal some damage, or we banish one of our zombie monsters, destroy her equip spell, and then we kind of go for the attack right there. So that's why I want to rock that trap card that can also stop her equip monster, or her equip cards, which is also pretty good too. Anyways, though, after this, we just kind of go smooth sailing from here. I keep attacking over and over and over again and keep boosting the attack. If you accidentally have this happen to you, as long as you have Squire Saga on the field, you can actually remove your Dark Soul token because you don't want Dark Soul token on your field. I accidentally did that, but you can use Squire Saga to remove that. And then up from here, we're kind of just chilling and just boosting the attack. Let me go skip to the final turn of this replay and show you guys how to properly OTK. Okay, so on your final turn, what you're going to want to do is that you're going to want to activate the effect of your Squire Saga to boost the attack a little bit more. You're going to want to summon into your Vassal, activate your secret passive treasures to make your Vassal be able to directly attack your opponent. Do this when she does have a monster, though. In this situation, she had no monsters on her side of the field, but you still just want to do this just to be safe. And if she has a monster on her field, you can go for the direct attack. Next up, we're going to activate our 2 copies of Union Attack so that we can boost the attack of our Vassal. And then we're just going to go for the direct attack right here with over 10k points of damage, which is very nice. Then we got like 18k points of damage for just how big my Dragon Soul, or my Nether Dragon, and my what was it called? My bootleg 6am just had a bunch of attacks. We were able to get 18k right there. That's how you properly farm Blair right there. Got 9k score. Let's go move on to the next deck. So the next farm deck we're going to take a look at is from Chiko. If you guys have not checked out his YouTube channel yet, be sure to go check it out. Link in the description down below. He built a Cloudian farm deck on his channel. Let me go showcase to you guys. So we have the Winged Dragon Ra in this farm deck. It's a lifetime mission reward. We have Herald of Heaven, which is currently unavailable, but you guys should check your SR tickets just to be safe. See if any of your SR tickets you have lying around could possibly give you this card. Some of them might, some of them might not, but still, it's definitely an option right there. If you don't have this guy, don't fret too much. It'll make the deck less consistent, but it's not like a need. It basically, the purpose of this card is that we can search into our Sanctuary of the Sky, which we can get from ranked duel tickets. So there you go. We have 2 copies of Cloudian Atlas from the Gaia Genesis box. We have 3 copies of Cirrostratus from the Gaia Genesis box, and then we have 2 copies of Golden Ladybug, which we're going to need to boost our life points so that we can utilize it with the Winged Dragon Ra. Already talked about Sanctuary of the Sky. We have 3 copies of this. 1 copy of Light-Imprisoning Mirror to negate the effects of the Light Sword monsters. 3 copies of Divine Punishment so we can also negate the effects of the Light Sword monsters, and then 2 copies of Jar of Greed. Also, we're rocking that Draw Sense Water so we can draw into our Cloudian monsters. So we went second in this farm, and kind of the gist of how this farm deck works is that we're going to want to summon it into our Cloudian monsters as soon as possible, because what's cool about the Cloudian monsters is that they cannot be destroyed by battle, and the only way they can really get destroyed is if they get switched to defense position. And what we do is that we use cards like Herald of Heaven so that we can get into our Sanctuary to the Sky as soon as possible, so that we can get our Sanctuary to the Sky, have that card to protect ourselves from battle damage, because it makes you take no battle damage if you control a fairy type monster. And what's cool about the Cloudians is, like I said, they don't get destroyed by battle. So what we do is that we search out for a Sanctuary of the Sky. I first summon into the Cloudian, and then one thing you got to keep in mind, if you can avoid it, don't summon Cloudian Stratus immediately. Try to summon into Cloudian Atlas if you can, because with Cloudian Stratus, we're going to need this card at the final attack, where what we do is that when you have 3 of these Cloudian Stratuses on the field with both 2 fog counters, its secondary effect states that if you remove 2 of your fog counters, you can destroy a monster on the field. And with Blair, by the time you get to your, when you get 0 cards left in your deck, she's going to have 3 different monsters on her side of the field, and you're going to want to blow them all up with your Cloudian. So if you can avoid it, don't summon into Stratus right away. But in this replay, I did summon into Stratus right away, and I was still able to get 10k points of damage and be able to get 8k score. So there you go right there. But just keep in mind, try to summon into your other Cloudian instead of Stratus if you can, but if not, then summon into Stratus and just go from there. Next up, though, we activate our Sanctuary of the Sky, set our Divine Punishment, and then set our Jar of Greed. She's going to summon into her Maiden of Love, and honestly, I don't really think I've had any really major troubles in this farm specifically. I was going against the level 30 Lightsworn deck, so I guess there is a little bit of I was going against her level 40 Lightsworn deck, and honestly, the only thing you gotta watch out for is, of course, that Lightsworn Celestia, that tribute monster. Other than that, you should be good, and if you can just get your Divine Punishment ready to go, and if you can get your Light-Imprisoning Mirror ready to go, then you shouldn't need to worry about Lightsworn Celestia. And in this situation, I did have a Divine Punishment ready to go, so just try to save your Divine Punishment for either negating level 40 Lightsworns. So just use your Divine Punishment to just negate any of Blair's Lightsworns that's milling the deck like crazy, and then use Divine Punishment to then negate any Celestia that Blair will summon into, because as you guys know, once she tribute summons that monster, she can pop some of your cards on the other side of the field. Anyways, though, from here, we just kind of keep getting counters over and over again, and I'll just skip to the final attack right here to kind of show you guys what you need to do. In a perfect situation, just try to get into your golden ladybugs as quick as you can so you can keep continuously getting the life points, because you're going to want to get over 10,000 life points, so then you can get 10,000 attack for a Winged Dragon Ra, and kind of go from there. But let's go skip to the final turn of this duel so I can show you guys how to get that spicy 8k score. Another thing, too, is that if you summon into your Cloudian Atlas, when you don't want him on the field anymore, feel free to switch him to defense position and pop him, because on your final turn, you're going to want to have 3 of the Cloudian Stratuses. So on your final turn, this is what you guys want to do. We're going to go draw into our Winged Dragon Ra right here, and then we're going to go activate our effects of our Cloudians. Keep in mind with the Cloudian Stratus, you only can use its effect of destroying a monster by removing 2 fog counters from this card specifically. So compared to Atlas, where he can remove fog counters from any of your Cloudian monsters, you specifically have to remove them from Stratus in order to pop its effect. That's why, if you can avoid it, summon a Atlas first before you summon it to Cirrostratus, because to get 2 fog counters on each of your Cirrostratuses, you basically summon your Cloudian Atlas first, and then summon it to your Cirrostratus second, and then just go from there and keep summoning into your different Cloudian monsters. But in this situation, we were able to get with only popping 2 of Blair's monsters right here. And technically, I didn't really need to do it at all, because she had her Maiden in Love in attack position. We're just going to attack in that for the end of the game. But if she has all 3 of her monsters in defense position, you're going to want to use Cirrostratus to just pop them all, so then you can go for a direct attack. Anyways, we're going to destroy each of the monsters right here, and then we're going to tribute them all off for Winged Dragon Ra. Activate Winged Dragon Ra's effect to bring us down to 100 life points and give itself a bunch of attack. Then we're going to go attack into the Maiden of Love and deal 10k points of damage and go for a spicy farm from there. So the last deck I'm going to showcase to you guys is a Buster Blader farm deck, and the objective of this deck is just to summon into your Buster Blader, the Dragon Sword Swordsman, as soon as possible while having a DNA surgery triggered for dragon type monsters, so you can negate all the Lightsworn monsters and then wait till your last turn and deal 10k points of damage. This deck, we're going to be having 2 copies of Buster Whelp, which you can get from the mini box Power of Bravery. We have 3 copies of Buster Blader, which is from the Crimson Kingdom box. We have 1 copy of Gravekeeper's Vassal from ranked duels. We have 2 copies of the Dragon Destruction Swordsman Fusion. If you can rock 3 copies of this card, rock 3 copies of this card, but I'm only rocking 2 because I only got 2 copies of the card. This is from the mini box, and same thing with the Buster Wealth. If you have 3 copies of Buster Wealth, rock it. I only have 2 copies of each of these 2 cards, so that's why I'm rocking only 2 copies of each of these cards. We have 2 copies of Union Attack right here, which you can get from Yukimoto Dual Reward or as certain SR tickets. 1 copy of the Elbow Dragon Destroyer, which is also from the Crimson Kingdom box. We have 1 copy of Secret Pass to the Treasures that you can utilize with your Gravekeeper's Vassal. This card's from the Ultimate Rising box. We have 2 copies of Drowning Mirror Force. This card is an optional card. We just put it in the deck so that we can stall out for a couple turns to get all the combo pieces that we need, but this isn't a optional card. You can rock whatever else you want to rock instead of Drowning Mirror Force. Like, for example, if you do have 3 copies of Destruction Swordsman or Buster Whelp, or 3 copies of Destruction Swordsman Fusion, you can drop Drowning Mirror Force, rock those 3 copies if you really want to. We have 3 copies of DNA Surgery, which you can get from Weevil Underwood or from the card trader. And then we have 3 copies of Good God's Housekeeping for that drop power, which you can get from multiple different boxes and structure decks. So there you go right there. We only have 1 copy of Buster Blader, the Dragon Sword Swordsman, because I only got 1 copy of this card. You should only need 1 copy of this card, though. I don't really think you need 2 of them. So there you go. Let's go hop into the dual replay and let me show you guys how this deck properly works. So in this dual replay, I went second, and also keep in mind with this dual replay is that I'm going against a level 30 Blair, but this farm deck should also work for level 40 Blair, because once you get your Dragon Destroyer Swordsman onto the field on top of DNA Surgery, where it made all monsters Dragon-type monsters, you can use Dragon Destroyer Swordsman to negate all of Blair's cards, and all of her Lightsworns won't be able to mill her deck out because you're going to be negating those effects with your Buster Blader Dragon Destroyer Swordsman if you get it on the field. Sadly, I did brick in this replay right here, but I was still able to summon into this card nonetheless. So let's just keep watching the replay right here. Had to skip a draw phase because I only had restart. Blair went and attacked me. Luckily, she didn't OTK me or nothing crazy like that. We drew into a perfect card. We drew into our Elven of the Dragon Destroyer so that we can go for Buster Blader. We activate DNA Surgeries to switch all monsters to Dragon-type monsters, so then we can trigger our Destruction Swordsman Fusion, and then we go for the Fusion Summon of Buster Blader Dragon Sword Swordsman, and literally we're good to go from here. The last thing that you need to do for this farm after you get your Buster Blader Dragon Sword Swordsman on side of the field is that you're going to want to summon a Buster Blader either through your Dragon Whelp or by other means so that you can get enough attack damage to then give your Gravekeeper's Vassal over 10k attack, which will show you guys in the final turn of this duel. So in this duel right here, I was able to draw into a Buster Whelp, I believe, after, I think on turn 9, no, turn 8 for me. On turn 8, I was able to draw into a Buster Whelp and then use its effect to 1, thin out my deck, and then also tributes it off and summon it to a Buster Blader from my graveyard. And then once you have these 2 monsters, you're pretty much good to go from here. And let's go move on to the last step of this farm. So on the final turn, when you have a Buster Blader Dragon Sword Swordsman on the field and you have a Buster Blader on the field, you're going to want to normal summon it to your Gravekeeper's Vassal. You're going to want to trigger your Secret Pass to the Treasures and then activate your 2 Union attacks, and then we can boost our Vassal to over 10k points of damage. And then once we go from there, we just go for a direct attack and go from there. Defense Mana did not do anything, and we're able to get that spicy dub, which is really awesome. The last farm deck to showcase in today's video is this Yubel Farm Deck, which I already made a full guide on how to properly use this farm deck. So if you wanted to learn how to properly use this Yubel Farm Deck, be sure to go check out this video next to the Misty right over there. And there you guys go. So that's going to be it for my farm guide on how to properly farm Blair Flannigan. Hope this video helped you guys out. If you watched to the end of this video and you haven't already, be sure to show your support by smashing that like button on the video down below and subscribe to the channel for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links content. Other than that, it's going to be it for me. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll go see you guys in the next Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video. Goodbye, everybody.
In a cycle repeat. A lie. How many chasing their dreams? A lie. How many of us give up cause we taking the failure as if it's defeat? A lie. How many of us is weak? A lie. How many of us is scared? A lie. How many of us don't understand that we got somebody who really cares? A lie.